Hey guys, what's up? It's Uberwho, and today I've got a commentary just about basic life stuff. Talking about growing up as a kid in high school and through college, and what I am today now. So back in high school, I was a kid who kind of deferred to other people. I was a shy guy, I guess, in terms of a lot of things, in athletics and the social scene and stuff like that. I was a pretty good athlete back in the day. I'm a lot better now than I am back then, or that I was back then. And I was a smart kid back then. I just never really applied myself, which, I don't know if I regret, but I feel like I could do a lot better applying myself to certain things and trying to figure out what I want in life. So to start with athletics, I was kind of a guy that deferred to other special athletes, I guess, the guys who were considered the best in each individual sport that I did. I did soccer, basketball, and track. Track's obviously an individual sport, but like in soccer and stuff, I would just kind of do my own thing and play my hardest as I could. And then in basketball, I was kind of a guy who deferred to the other guys who were considered the big dogs back in the day, I guess you could say. But nowadays, I consider myself one of the better players on the court on any court I step into, and I try to further better myself and prove to everyone that I am as good as I think. So for sports, when it came down to it, there were a lot of guys who were better than me in individual sports like soccer, basketball, or track. But in general terms, I was a good athlete. I was quick. I was fast. I had the endurance to, run a soccer game or to play basketball, blah, blah, blah. And today, the thing that I wish I would have had as a high school kid was the confidence to believe in myself and to, totally just trust in my abilities as a player to beat the defender that I was going up against or whatever the team I'm going up against, just to have that faith and believe and trust in myself that I could actually do what I set out to do. I think a lot of kids, see other kids, when I'm talking about high school, I see a lot of kids, look up to this one kid like, oh, he's a really good hockey player, or he's a really good basketball player, or football player, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You can be that guy. If you're a good enough athlete, it doesn't matter whether, you've got the best soccer skills, soccer or hockey, football, basketball skills. If you're a good enough athlete and you believe in yourself and you put enough time into becoming a better player in whatever sport you love to do, that's the thing you should be out doing. You shouldn't be, living in someone else's shadow, being, in basketball terms, that's the sport I'm closest to. Being the sixth man, being the guy off the bench that, surprises everyone, you should just be that guy. You should be the star of your team. You shouldn't be the guy who sits on the bench and waits, for his turn to shine. You should be that guy who steps out and becomes what he wants to be. Back when I was in high school, I was a pretty shy kid. I was pretty timid. And to put it into a real context, basketball is my kind of love for a sport, and I didn't discover it until late into my, adolescence, I guess I'll say. And so there have been a lot of guys who have been playing it years before me and had developed skills and stuff like that when I had stepped into the high school scene. And the problem with me was I hadn't developed my confidence as a player and as an athlete way until college. And, I really regret that as a person. I wish I would have had the confidence and I wish I would have had the belief in myself that I could actually do the things that I knew I could do against guys who had proven themselves over the years. So I've tried this next part, I've talked about it like probably 10 times trying to record this part, and each time it just feels corny to me and kind of repetitive. But anyways, my basic point when it comes to athletics is that you need to believe in yourself. I would go to these camps in summertime and, be one of the top 5 players in terms of basketball skill at each of these camps, and then I'd come back home and, just kind of rescind back into, like a specialist spot. Like, there's 8 guys better than me. You know what? I believe they're better than me. I'll just play the best I can as that ninth best guy instead of believing in myself and trying to be, a top 3 guy on that team. I would just, defer to other players and let them, take the spotlight away from me when I knew full well what I was capable of, but I just had that belief in these other guys that they were better than me. So in terms of sports, you should just believe in yourself. If you play hockey or you play football or you play soccer, whatever you play, just believe in yourself. If you're not the star now, keep working at it. Go to camps, work on your own specialty skills, be, either a really good guy at one thing or another, or just try to be that general overall good player for whatever sport you're going for. And one day it'll pay off. You just have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you just fall back into the same trend of, living in someone else's shadow when you could be the star athlete and you could be, the cool guy, I'll put it in quotations, at your high school or whatever you're playing at. Just believe in yourself and do what you can as an athlete. When it comes to academics, back in high school and pretty much throughout college and middle school, whatever you want to say, I was a kid who didn't really study for much. I mean, I would go to class, I would listen and pay attention and do whatever was asked of me in class. And that's kind of how I learned. I learned through a visual process and just listening to people talk about the subject. I don't learn via, studying books and reading notes that I've taken. That's just not the way I learn. And so throughout high school and college, pretty much without, studying hard and, reviewing my notes, I was able to get B's and A's and stuff like that. That's just kind of me. People learn different ways. A lot of people learn via their notes or, reading the book, which is fine. There's nothing against that. That's just how people learn. For me, I learned I was a visual learner in high school. Actually paying attention in class, and I didn't really even have to take notes. If I just paid attention in class and listened to what the teacher taught, it was a lot easier for me to, remember it on a test than me trying to listen to them, take notes, and then, try to recite it before a test. For me personally, I come from, I don't know, kind of a different family. My family that, I'm used to living in the city that I live in, I have 4 younger siblings, and then the city that I'm from, I have 2 younger siblings. And it's kind of like I have this responsibility of being a person that they look up to and a person that, they learn from and become better people from. And for me, that's kind of hard to take on as a person. And I don't mean to get sentimental about it or emotional about it, but it's a lot of pressure, subliminally. But, as a person, as an athlete, I just kind of try to prove myself via what I do on the court or on the field, whatever you want to say, and through learning, through a school and stuff like that. I make jokes like, you don't have to do homework, you don't have to study, just do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's different for each person. I mean, like I said, I learned through listening to teachers, and I learned through listening in class and stuff like that, and not really taking notes or reading books. People are different. My siblings might be different. They might learn through taking notes and reading books and stuff like that. And I don't want to discourage them from doing all that. My point is more to learn how they can better learn through teachers, books, whatever. You gotta figure out what works best for you and take that and apply that to yourself. And so now, like, being out of high school and college and stuff like that, I feel like I've changed as a person, not in terms of just sports or academics and stuff like that, but my whole overall kind of experience has changed, my outlook on the world and my outlook on life and what I can do and all that crap. So, I come from a pretty well-off family, if you don't know me. And I've never really had to pay for much in terms of, bills and cars and stuff like that. The car that I drive now is paid by my parents. It's paid off, I'm pretty sure, in terms of everything.